You are lying helpless in a rude hut in the deep interior of China, not knowing how you got there or why. And before you, you see the face of a beautiful girl and the hard, ruthless figure of a guerrilla chieftain. And you know that in this room there is danger for you, perhaps death.
We offer you Escape, transcribed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. Today we escape to China and the story of a man who lost his memory and almost his life, as James Norman told it in his fascinating story, He Who Rides the Tiger.
The figures and faces would come and go. Sometimes I seemed to be floating along with them through endless space, but more often I could feel myself lying on a hard bed and watching, not moving, with sick and fevered eyes. And there was a big man with brown skin and close-cropped hair, and an older man with a white coat. But best of all was the girl, a beautiful girl. Usually her face would dissolve into a great lotus flower that would hang for a moment in the air and then float slowly beyond reach of my thoughts and disappear. Part of this was a dream, of course, and part reality, but I was unable to separate one from the other. How long it went on, it's impossible for me to say. I had no sense of the passage of time. One morning, though, I opened my eyes and looked at the bare walls of the room. The white-haired man sitting by my cot, the other man sitting a few feet away smoking a cigarette. And then I knew that the dreams had gone away and would not come back. This was reality.
Feeling better? Can you hear me? Understand me?
Huh? Yes. Yes, of course.
Good. Glad you're finally coming out of it. You've been a very sick man, you know.
Where am I?
Fenyang Mission Hospital. We're about 600 miles south of Peiping.
That's impossible. How did I get here?
You walked in. Dropped unconscious in the courtyard, burning up with fever and suffering from malnutrition.
Malnutrition? But I ate lunch yesterday in Peiping.
I'm afraid I'll have to contradict you. You've been here for 2 months.
But I don't understand.
Doctor, I wonder if I could ask your patient a question.
Why, yes, of course.
It's simply this. What is your name?
Why, it's Armour. David Armour.
Ah, yes. So you told us while you were delirious, but we could not be sure. And your business in Peiping, Mr. Armour?
I'm a member of the International Committee on Chinese Art Treasures. We've been investigating the policy of the advancing Japanese armies toward protecting and preserving art objects in newly conquered territories.
I see. And yesterday, you ate lunch in Peiping?
Yes, at the Wagon Li Hotel. I dropped my wife off at the... Adrian. Well, where is she? Where's my wife?
Mrs. Armour is in San Francisco at present.
San Francisco? Well, why should... What's this all about? Who are you and what am I doing here? Why have I...
Mr. Armour, please. Mr. Quinto, I think any further questioning had better be postponed until tomorrow. Mr. Armour is in no condition for it.
I quite agree with you, Doctor. Very well, Mr. Armour. Until tomorrow, then.
Doctor, I don't understand. Who is this Mr. Quinto? What does he want?
Well, he's a powerful man among the Chinese. He's been following your condition very closely. I don't know what he wants.
If I could only remember what happened. I've got to send word to my wife, to Adrian, to the American consul. My wallet, my passport and papers. Do you have them?
Oh, Mr. Armour, when you arrived here, you were wearing a cast-off uniform of the Japanese army.
What?
You had no papers or identification. There was nothing in your pockets except this. I haven't told Mr. Quinto about it.
Right. It's a little porcelain figurine. A rabbit.
Yes, a rabbit. Does it mean anything to you?
No, I never saw it before in my life.
That's too bad. I was hoping it might help you remember.
The last thing I remember is that lunch in Peiping. Seems like yesterday, and yet you told me it was 2 months ago.
Oh, no. I said that you came here 2 months ago. What was the date of that luncheon, Mr. Armour?
It was September 23rd.
Yes. Of what year?
1941, of course. What do you mean? What are you driving at?
Mr. Armour, apparently the last thing you remember is a lunch that you had in Peiping nearly 8 years ago.
I understand the doctor has brought you more or less up to date, Mr. Armour.
Well, in a general way, yes. He told me about Pearl Harbor and the war, and finally the Japanese surrender, the revolution in China, and so on. Hasn't helped any as far as my memory is concerned, though.
It's too bad. Let me extend that memory by about 20 minutes.
What do you mean?
On September 23rd, 1941, you ate lunch at the Wagon Lee Hotel in Peiping with a Mr. Ficking, the Far East correspondent for an American newspaper.
Yes, I know that.
You left the hotel with Mr. Ficking and engaged a rickshaw, naturally. 2 blocks away, it was bumped by a Japanese army truck and overturned. You were thrown out and struck your head on the curbing.
But I don't
Your
understand.
companion became embroiled in an argument with the truck driver, and a crowd gathered. And when the affair quieted down, you had disappeared. From that time until your appearance here at Fengyang 2 months ago, your whereabouts are unknown.
But how did you find out about this?
That is unimportant. I am concerned with what you did after that. A war was being fought in China. The whole country was under martial law by one side or the other. Yet, I can find no record of you anywhere.
What are you getting at?
You were not with the American or Chinese armies, and neither the Japanese army nor the puppet government lists you as a war prisoner. You were not with the Chinese guerrillas. I was one of their leaders. I would have known about that. So, what were you doing, Mr. Armour? Collaborating, perhaps?
With the Japanese?
There would be no listing of your name in that case. They destroyed all such records before the surrender. And you were wearing a Japanese uniform when you came here.
Ah, you're out of your mind.
Then suppose you tell me what you were doing.
I can't tell you. I don't remember. What do you want, anyway? What brought you into this?
2 simple words that mean $1 million.
Huh?
Even when they are whispered by a man in delirium. Tang bronzes.
Tang bronzes.
You've heard of them?
Yes, of course. The only 2 pieces in existence are in the Buckingham Palace collection in London. But what have they got to do?
No, not those, Mr. Armour. I'm referring to the 4 Tang bronzes that are in existence in China.
Well, they've been lost for centuries.
Oh, no. A few Chinese in every generation have always known where they were. We were forced to move them for safekeeping several times during the war. The last time was a few days before the surrender. My men in charge of the job were ambushed and murdered, and the bronzes were stolen. By whom I've not been able to discover.
Are you implying that
I learned they were being taken to Shanghai. I traced them past Nanking and lost the trail. But they did not reach Shanghai, of that I'm certain.
So? Why do I come in?
Well, from things you've said in delirium, I believe you have seen and touched those bronzes. Perhaps even you know where they are, if you could remember. I want them back. You want your memory back. It's not good to lose 8 years with no accounting for one's actions.
Just what are you suggesting?
I suggest that I settle all suspicion by a public statement that you were a member, incognito, of my guerrilla forces during the entire war. Then the 2 of us will start from Shanghai and work toward Nanking, hoping that some scene or association may serve as a key to unlock your memory. When that happens, we both have what we want.
I see. Well, there's only one thing wrong with it. I'm not going to do it.
Too bad. What are your plans, then, Mr. Armour?
The doctor says I'll be able to travel by the end of the week. I'm going to take a train to Shanghai and hop the first plane out to San Francisco.
I'm afraid you're making a serious mistake. But, of course, it's every man's privilege. At least, I hope you'll carry this with you on your trip.
Pistol? What for?
Because somewhere there is a person who may not stop at anything to make sure you do not regain your memory at some inconvenient moment. Had you forgotten about that, Mr. Armour?
Most of the long train trip to Shanghai was uneventful. I still carried the gun, mostly because I didn't know what else to do with it. But I had only one idea in mind, to get home to San Francisco and to Adrian just as soon as possible. At Nanking, the papers that came on board were carrying the story of my wartime association with Kinto's guerrilla forces. Apparently, he'd gone ahead on his own with that part of his plan. From Nanking on, I could hear the other passengers discussing me amongst themselves. And when some 50 miles out of Shanghai, a fat, smiling little Chinese merchant named Mr. Chen sat down in my compartment, began to chatter away about my heroism.
It's most remarkable, Mr. Armour, most amazing, that one who served our country in such a glorious way is not able to remember a single one of illustrious exploits.
Well, as I told you, Mr. Chen, I was injured nearly 8 years ago. I've been suffering from amnesia. It was only last week that my memory came back to me.
Oh, yes, it's too shame. And nothing, not one single hour of 8 years can be remembered.
No? All that I know is what Mr. Kinto tells me.
It's true. Whatever Mr. Kinto say is a muchly important man, very great leader, a very powerful fighter.
Yes, he is.
You know where is Mr. Kinto now?
No, he left Yangfang 3 days ago. I think he went to Peiping.
Oh, yes. And your honorable intention, Mr. Armour, they are what?
To get a plane to San Francisco just as soon as possible.
Oh, it's most excellent plan. Shanghai, very troubled city, very unsettled. Would cause great lamentation in land if accident happened to illustrious hero of our country.
Accident?
Well, who can tell the ways of fate? In city like Shanghai, many accidents can happen, even to brave fighter with loaded pistol and coat pocket. It's much better you go away on plane very quickly, Mr. Armour.
In Shanghai, I took a taxi to the Cathay Hotel. When I started to check in, I got the first of several surprises. The clerk told me that I had a room already reserved and paid for, by whom he didn't know. At any rate, it was a nice room, one of the best in the house. I picked up the telephone, called the American consul. Then I started the hotel clerk working on an airline reservation. Set my clothes out to be clean, climbed into a shower. And by the time I'd finished, a boy knocked on my door with an envelope. I opened it, took out the note. Humble token of appreciation for illustrious wartime services, Mr. Chen. Attached to the note was a plane ticket to San Francisco and a seat reservation for noon the next day. I should have expected the second note delivered 15 minutes later, but I didn't. It read, "Please do me the honor of joining me in the American bar downstairs at your convenience. Signed, Kinto."
But of course it was I who reserved the room, Mr. Armour. I knew you were planning to stay here at the Cathay, and I was only too happy to assist you with a small favor.
It won't do you any good, Mr. Kinto. I told you in Fengyang I'm going home right away.
Hasty decisions are often reconsidered. Anyway, I think you may have helped some already.
Oh? In what way?
You were approached on the train by Mr. Chen, who urged you, if I am correctly informed, to leave Shanghai at once.
He did more than that. He arranged for a reservation on tomorrow's plane.
Well, Mr. Chen becomes more interesting by the minute. And did you know that he also arranged to have you followed from the railroad station?
I don't care. I'm not interested in your game, his game, if he has one, or anybody else's. I'm flying to San Francisco tomorrow.
What a pity. And without knowing a thing about a period of your life that covers nearly 8 years.
Yeah, whatever it was, it's over and done.
What's wrong, Mr. Armour?
That girl who just came in. The one who walked past our table.
Oh, yes. What about her?
Do you know her?
I only wish I did. She's beautiful, isn't she?
Can you find out who she is?
Of course. Although for a man so anxiously hurrying home to his wife, it's... oh, well. Waiter.
I sat there with my mind spinning madly while the waiter took the folded bill Kinto handed him and went over to ask discreet questions. I was certain the girl had looked at me strangely as she passed the table. Even now, she glanced back from the bar before moving on through the room and out the door. To the best of my knowledge, I'd never seen her before in my life. And yet, the face I'd dreamed of so often in my delirium had been the face of this girl.
Mr. Lady live here on hotel. It's known by name Etoile.
Etoile, huh?
Ah.
All right. Thank you, boy. Was she, by any chance, who you thought she was?
No, I was wrong. I mistook her for someone else entirely.
I see. Merely a case of mistaken identity.
Yes.
That's very interesting. In view of this note,
What?
the waiter slipped this into my hand when he came back. It's addressed to Mr. Armour, so it isn't mine.
But I don't...
Why not open it and read it? Now, I, for one, am quite interested in finding out what a complete stranger has to say to you.
While Kento stared at me thoughtfully through the smoke from his cigarette, I unfolded the paper and read the hastily written lines, and then crumpled it and thrust it into my pocket without showing it to him. The words danced in my brain. My dearest David, why would you not speak to me when I came to your table? Have you forgotten me? Do the 6 years we spent together mean nothing to you? Please come to me at once. As always, your adoring wife, Etoile. Kento probed skillfully, trying to discover the contents of the note Etoile had sent me. But I had no intention of telling him. I left him still sitting there at the table and went to the lobby. Talked briefly with the room clerk and with the antique dealer who kept a shop in the foyer. 10 minutes later, I stepped into an elevator and rode up to the 7th floor. And an hour after I'd seen Etoile in the bar, I was facing her again through the open doorway of her room. Her dark hair lay softly on her shoulders. Her skin was velvet and warm cream. And the subtle scent of an amia perfume hung in the air like a tender challenge. She was lovely. She was supposed to be my wife. And I couldn't remember her.
David, my darling, won't you please come in?
Thank you. I suppose you're Etoile?
Well, of course, David.
And you did send me a note downstairs in the bar.
But who else, my dear? Oh, it's the old trouble again, isn't it?
Trouble?
The sickness of forgetfulness, my doctor called it. So often you suffered from it at Suchow, weeks at a time.
Suchow?
Don't you remember Willow House, the beautiful estate that Uncle Liu gave us when we were... Oh, that's why you did not speak to me in the bar. You've forgotten all of it. Even me.
Yes, I'm afraid you'll have to bear with me, Etoile. I don't mean to hurt you,
Oh, it
but...
doesn't matter, my darling. I understand. I've been so terribly worried since you ran away from Suchow 4 months ago. But now we're back together and everything is all right again.
Etoile, tell me, when was it we were married?
In the month of December 1941. See, I carry the paper with me always.
Yes.
We were married in the Chinese manner by Uncle Wang. And then Uncle Liu gave us Willow House.
And we lived there all through the war? Well, why weren't we bothered? I mean, by the Japanese?
Uncle Wang was very important in the puppet government. He was mayor of Suchow before the guerrillas shot him.
I see.
Why not come with me to Suchow tomorrow, David? Perhaps when you see Willow House again, you'll remember.
All right. Suppose we leave around noon.
Anytime you say.
Good, then I'll arrange to hire a car.
There is one thing, David. I think it is better you know now instead of remembering later.
Oh? What's that?
Your job during the war. Uncle Wang arranged it for you.
Well?
You translated captured American documents for the Japanese army.
Oh, great.
You didn't realize what you were doing, and we had to live.
I'm sorry, Etoile. I'd better get out of here. I'll call for you tomorrow.
David, even though you can't remember me yet as your wife, could you not at least kiss me goodnight?
Well, of course.
David. Until noon tomorrow, darling. Good night.
Early the next morning, I climbed into a hired car and headed out of Shanghai. Etoile was not with me. I had to face this for the first time alone. I felt I was heading into a showdown. Etoile's story was backed up by something else I'd learned the night before. The antique dealer at the hotel had told me he wasn't sure of the significance of the little porcelain rabbit the doctor at Fengyang had turned over to me, but he was certain that it had come from Su Chao. A servant let me into the Willow House, and he left me alone in a large room furnished sparsely in the Chinese manner. I wandered about idly, still finding nothing that said to me, "You've been here before," until suddenly I came face to face with a crude poster looking very much out of place against the dainty lacquer screen. It was an offer of reward issued by the Japanese army during the war. The photograph on the poster was blurred beyond all likeness, but the wording was clear enough. $50,000, dead or alive, for the guerrilla general Jimenez Quinto.
It makes rather an interesting souvenir, don't you think so, Mr. Arnold? No, do not draw the gun, you're covered, as they say.
Well, welcome to my humble abode, Mr. Quinto, or is it the other way around?
Neither, as a matter of fact. Willow House was an undercover guerrilla headquarters in this area during the war.
And this whole business of being married and so on was another of your ideas? Is that right?
I'm afraid so, Mr. Armour. Etoile is a very capable operator, a guerrilla colonel, as a matter of fact. You were never married to her. Come on in, Louis.
All right, you've fooled me into coming up here to Su Chao, but what good's it going to do? Can't tell you any more now than I could have in Shanghai.
Perhaps not, but my little scheme also involves a certain Mr. Chen. If he has not followed you here already, I believe he will do so soon.
Then you're putting your money on Chen as the man who stole the Tang bronzes. Is that it?
His insistence that you leave China seems to me suspicious. I intend to question him.
Couldn't you have done it in Shanghai?
Not with his greater freedom. My questioning is always thorough.
Well, that's your business. As far as I'm concerned, I'm heading back to Shanghai right now.
I'm afraid that's impossible. Etoile has already taken the liberty of paying off your chauffeurs.
Etoile?
She rode up here with you under a blanket in the back seat. She's quite resourceful.
Now, look here, if you think for 1 minute...
Please, Mr. Armour. There is an old Chinese proverb which says, "He who rides the tiger finds it easier to get on than to get off." Louis, I think you'd better get the gun from our hot-headed friend.
A most excellent suggestion. Is in this pocket, I believe. Ah, yes. Thank you, Mr. Armour. And look, General Quinto. He has been collecting souvenirs.
One of the little porcelain rabbits, huh? Etoile didn't tell me you had stopped in Su Chao to go shopping.
I didn't. Had that figurine with me when I stumbled into Fengyang Mission.
What?
The doctor gave it back to me.
Why did you not tell me these little figurines come from a temple right here in Su Chao? They're given out to pilgrims during the annual festival. Mr. Armour, does the name Mei Ren Pagoda, Temple of the Moon, mean anything to you?
Mei Ren? Temple of the Moon? Hey, wait. Yes, it's coming back to me. And Mr. Chen, too. And the Tang bronzes. I remember now, Quinto. I can remember.
It's muchly unfortunate that you can't, Mr. Armour.
Mr. Chen.
The gun, General Quinto, dropped at one. Other one also. So, Mr. Armour, lost memory has returned.
Yes. Yes, I only saw you a few times during the 7 years. That's why I didn't recognize you. You were the abbot in the Temple of the Moon.
After previous abbot was disposed of early in 1942, temple served as excellent headquarters for operation of this lonely one. Also, a very amusing location being so near to your headquarters, General Quinto.
And to understand that you were a collaborator.
Quite so. Among other things, of course, even Kung Fu Tse say men must live.
Yes. I wandered here to the temple after that accident in Shanghai. The old abbot took me in without question, and I became one of the brothers. I had no memory at all. Was out of my mind half the time. They called me the forgetful one.
What about the Tang bronzes, Mr. Armour?
Well, one night I couldn't sleep. I wandered onto the balcony of the great hall of the temple. Chen was there with some other men who were showing him the 4 bronzes they just brought in. I had a vague feeling that they were very important. I guess that's why I raved about them later at Fengyang Hospital.
Mr. Armour, you know what was done with the bronzes after you saw them?
Yes, they were buried that same night under the tiles beside the 7th pool in the temple courtyard.
Mr. Chen, are they still there?
Oh, but of course. And in matter of moments, you may tell location to ancestors.
Mr. Chen, by your own admissions, added to things of which I know already, you are apparently guilty of collaboration, theft, a number of murders, and various high crimes against China. Have you anything to say in your defense?
Only to confess freely. Much less satisfying feeling when confessor hold gun in hand.
Then I find you guilty and the case is closed.
Oh, it's most amusing, General Quinto.
Colonel Etoile, you will carry out the sentence of the court.
As you say, General.
Excellent shooting, Colonel Etoile.
Oh, not at all. The range was nearly point blank.
Man should be designed with eyes in back of head.
Man should not try to ride the tiger.
This lowly one, muchly favored by having such beautiful executioner.
Thank you, little Chen.
Mr. Armour, you have met Etoile before, under a false impression. May I now present her as my wife?
Your wife? Well, last night I thought she was my wife.
Yes, such are the remarkable ways of fate.
You didn't mind it, did you, David?
Well,
Colonel Etoile.
Oh, my Jimenez. But come, we must round up the men and enter the temple as quickly as possible. We cannot afford to lose the bronzes now.
You're quite right. Yui, take care of the late lamented Mr. Chen. Come, Etoile. You have served well, Mr. Armour. My advice to you now, go to San Francisco at once. To your wife. Your own wife. Adios.
Come and see us, David, when we are the rulers of China. Au revoir.
I stood there and watched her go, swinging along beside him, lithe and graceful. And a sudden, sharp feeling as of loneliness came over me. Then the moment passed and I smiled to myself. She was only a part of all this, these stirring and exciting events. Nothing more. In San Francisco, the wife whom I loved was waiting for me. And Adrian, too, was a very beautiful woman.
Escape is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald. Today we have presented transcribed He Who Rides the Tiger by James Norman, adapted for radio by Les Crutchfield, with editorial supervision by John Dunkel. Starred as David Armour was Bill Conrad, with Barry Kroger as General Quinto. Featured in the cast were Maria Palmer, Jack Crucian, Ben Wright, and Edgar Barrier.
Escape has come to you through the worldwide facilities of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
Everyday routine? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? You want to get away from it all?
We offer you Escape, starring John Lund. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are groping your way slowly through the dark hold of a ship at sea, moving carefully, step by step, searching intently for something you dread to find, because you know that this ship carries a cargo of death.
Today, with John Lund in the role of Chris Warner, we escape to a harbor front in Venezuela and a grim voyage which started from there, as told by Martin Storm and his gripping tale, A Shipment of Mute Fate.
stopped on the wharf at La Guaira and looked up the gangplank toward the liner Shanghai, standing there quietly at her moorings. The day was warm under a bright tropic sun, and the harbor beyond the ship lay drowsy and silent. But all at once, in the midst of those peaceful surroundings, a cold chill gripped me. I shivered with sudden dread of the thing I was doing and was about to do. But too much had happened to turn back now. I'd gone too far to stop. I set the box down on the edge of the wharf, placed it carefully so as to be in plain sight and within gunshot of the captain's bridge. I knew what I was going to do, but I couldn't forget that a certain pair of beady eyes were watching every move I made. Eyes that never blinked and never closed, just watched and waited. I turned and started up the gangplank.
Oh, you startled me, sir. I didn't hear... Why, it's Mr. Warner.
Well, hello, Mother Willis. How's the best-looking stewardess on the Seven Seas?
Oh, well, I'm fine, Mr. Warner. Well, I guess I'd better run along now and get on with my chores.
Wait a minute. That's a fine greeting after 2 months.
Well, it's just that I'm so busy.
No, I don't believe a word of it. Sailing day's tomorrow. You're simply avoiding me, that's all.
Oh, no, Mr. Warner. Really, I'm not.
And on the trip down from New York, you said I was your favorite passenger.
Well, but I'm only
Here.
trying...
What's that you're carrying in your apron?
Oh, it's nothing. Just supplies.
Supplies? Here, let's have a look.
No, please.
What? Why, it's a cat.
It's Clara, Mr. Warner. Mr. Bowman said I had to leave her ashore, and I just couldn't.
Who's Mr. Bowman?
The new chief steward. Well, Clara's been aboard with me for 2 years, and I just can't leave her here in a foreign country, especially with her condition, so delicate and all.
Well, I hope you get away with it.
You won't tell anyone?
Oh, not a soul. As a matter of fact, if things don't work out right, we may both end up smuggling.
Happy to have had you aboard on the trip down 2 months ago, Christopher, and I'm happy to have you along with us on the run back to New York.
Oh, thanks, Captain Wood. There is one thing, though.
What's that?
I'm having a little trouble with the customs men here. I wondered if you...
I can't do it, Christopher. I cabled your father just this morning. Told him I would have done it for you if I possibly could. He sent a request from New York, you know.
Yes, I thought he would. I wired him from upriver last week.
Well, I hated to refuse, but that's absolutely out of the question.
Captain Wood, I'm afraid I don't follow you.
My responsibility to the passengers, son. We'll have women and children aboard, and on a liner, the safety of the passengers comes ahead of anything else.
But with proper precautions...
Something might happen.
What?
I don't know what, but something might.
You've carried worse things.
There isn't anything worse. Any skipper afloat will bear me out. No, Christopher, I simply can't take the chance. That's final.
Final. It wasn't final if I could do anything about it. I hadn't come down here to spend 2 months in that stinking back country and then be stopped on the edge of the wharf. 2 months of it. Heat, rain, insects, malaria. I'd gone clear in past the headwaters of the Orinoco. Traveled through country where every step along the jungle trail might be the last one. Oh, Sanchez!
Si, Senor Warner.
Better start looking for a place to camp. Be dark in a little while.
Si, senor. Very soon we turn to river. Camp on rocks by water. This very bad country.
This very bad country. You've been saying that for 10 days now. Very bad country.
Si, Senor Warner. This very bad country.
Oh, skip it. For all the luck we've had so far, it might as well be Central Park.
Central Park? I don't understand.
Oh, never mind. We don't... Here, what's the matter? Quiet there, quiet! Sanchez, what's wrong?
They're in the path. See! Bushmaster!
Bushmaster. The deadliest snake in the world. Bushmaster. Its Latin name was Lachesis muta. Mute fate. It lay there in the center of the path, a 10-foot length of silent death, coiled loosely in an undulant loop, ready to strike violently at the least movement. Here was the one snake that would go after any animal that walked, or any man. It lay there and watched us, not moving, not afraid, ready for anything. The splotch of its colors stood out like some horrible, gaudy floor mat, lying there on the brown background of the jungle, waiting for someone to step on it. Here was what I'd come 2,000 miles for, a bushmaster. It was 3 days later when Sanchez brought me the snake in a rubber bag. He was shaking so hard, I thought for a moment the thing had struck him.
One thing you make sure, Senor Warner. No turn him loose in Venezuela. Because he know I the one who catch him. And he know where I live.
All right, Sanchez. I'll keep an eye on him.
He know you pay me to catch him. All the time he watch and wait. You no forget that, Senor Warner. Because he no forget. Not ever.
Well, after going through all that trouble and danger, I wasn't going to let a pig-headed ship's captain stop me at the last minute. At least not as long as the cables were still in operation between La Guaira and New York. Morning, Captain Wood. Boy at the hotel said you wanted to see me.
That's right, Christopher. Do. Sit down.
Thank you.
Seems you weren't willing to let matters stand the way we left them yesterday.
Sorry to go over your head, Captain Wood, but I had to. The museum sent me all the way down here for that snake, and I'm not going to be stopped by red tape. Why, this will be the only live bushmaster ever brought to the United States.
If I had my way, Christopher. But orders are orders. I got a cable from the head office this morning. All right, now, suppose we talk about precautions.
Well, I'll handle it any way you say.
It's got to have a stronger box. That crate's too flimsy.
Oh, it's stronger than it looks. That wire screen on top would hold a wildcat.
Hmm.
But anyway, I bought a heavy sea chest this morning. We'll put the crate inside it.
It sounds all right. You've got a lock on it.
Heavy padlock.
Hmm.
It's fixed so the lid can be propped open a crack without unlocking it. Snake's got to have air.
All right. But in dirty weather, that lid stays shut. I'm taking no chances.
Fair enough.
We'll keep the blasted thing in my inside cabin, where I sleep. I can't have it in the baggage room. And nobody on board's to know about it.
Whatever you say, Captain. We won't have any trouble. After all, it's only a snake. Doesn't have any magical powers.
I saw a bushmaster in the zoo at Caracas once. Had it in a glass cage with double walls. Never move. Just lie there and look at you as long as you were in sight. Gave a man the creeps.
I didn't know they had a bushmaster at the Caracas Zoo.
They don't now. Found the glass broke one morning, the snake gone. Night watchman was dead. They never found out what happened.
Well, the watchman must have broken the glass by accident in some way.
The way they figured it, the glass was broke from the inside. We sail in 4 hours.
Into the Caribbean, with perfect weather and a sea as smooth as an inland lake. The barometer dropped a little on the third day, but cleared up overnight, left nothing worse than a heavy swell. But in spite of the calm seas and pleasant weather, I found myself feeling more and more often an ominous foreboding. I was developing an almost unnatural fear of that snake. I stayed clear of the passengers pretty much. Got the habit of dropping into Captain Wood's quarters several times a day. He kept the heavy box underneath his berth. I'd approach it quietly and shine my flashlight through the open crack. Never once could I catch that 12-foot devil asleep or even excited. He'd be lying there, half-coiled, his head raised a little, staring out of those beady black eyes, waiting. He'd still be like that when I turn away to leave. Maybe that's what bothered me. That horrible and constant watchful waiting. What in the name of heaven was he waiting for?
Well, hello there, Mr. Warner.
Oh, how are you, Mother Willis?
My, but you and the captain spend an awful lot of time around this cabin. I'm beginning to think the two of you must have some guilty secret.
Oh, no, nothing like that, Mother Willis. I don't know about Captain Wood, but I certainly don't have any guilty secret. Well, she's running quite a swell out there, Mr. Bowman.
Yeah, it's a little heavy, all right, Mr. Warner. Guess the storm passed through to the west of us yesterday when the glass dropped.
Think it missed us then, huh?
Well, that's where the mate figures. Sure stirred up some water, though.
This'll put half the passengers in their bunks.
Makes it great for my department. 2/3 of them will want a steward to hold their heads.
They'll keep Mother Willis so busy that you... Wait.
What?
Look at the size of that wave.
Great Jehoshaphat. We're going to take it on the port bow. You better hang on.
Oh. That was a freak if there ever was one. Not another wave that size in sight.
You see them like that sometimes, even on a calm sea. I better get below, Mr. Warner. That water probably did some damage on the officer's deck.
Yeah, I suppose. What did you say?
The wheel companionway was open on the port side. The bridge cabins must have taken a pretty bad smashing. They're right below the... Something wrong, Mr. Warner?
Oh, no. No, nothing at all, Mr. Bowman. At least, I hope not. I didn't stop to find Captain Wood. Of course, I knew it was only 1 chance in 1,000, but the chances against that freak wave were 1 in 1,000, too. I stumbled down the companionway and along the passage to the captain's cabin.
Oh, come on in, Mr. Warner.
Oh, Mother Willis.
My, isn't this cabin a mess? I'm trying to get some of these things out to dry.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to check. Where's that box that was under the captain's bunk?
Oh, that? Oh, I just threw it out on the deck.
What?
With the desk over there slid into it. It was all smashed.
But the small box inside of it. What happened to that?
Oh, they were both splintered, Mr. Warner. Broke wide open.
Oh, no.
Why, Mr. Warner, you're white as a sheet.
Mother Willis, will you go find Captain Wood?
Yes, sir.
Tell him to come down here immediately.
Well, of course, Mr. Warner. I'll go tell him right away. I can finish up here.
I pulled open the top drawer of the bureau beside me and took out the captain's flashlight and a loaded pistol. Mother Willis had left a mop standing by the door. I put my foot on the head of it and snapped off the handle. Every move I made turned into slow motion. I could hear my own heart beating. Slowly, I started to search the cabin. Sodden heaps of clothing were scattered around on the wet black floor. I punched at them one at a time, holding the gun cocked, the flashlight pointing along the stick. Nothing. I worked around the room, throwing the light into the dark corners, back of the desk, under the bunk. Wherever I turned, I could feel those cold, unblinking eyes at my back, watching and waiting. Still nothing. Using the stick, I pushed open the closet door, threw the light inside. Carefully, I poked at the boxes and junk on the floor. The snake was not in the closet. Inch by inch, I covered the entire cabin. And only then the horrible realization began to dawn on me. Captain Wood.
Mother Willis just told me. Well, Christopher. So it's happened.
That's right. It's happened.
I see you found the gun. That's good. We better start by searching the cabin here.
Captain Wood, I just finished searching it.
Oh. Women, kids. That thing loose on board. 1,000 places for it to hide. Heaven help us, Christopher. There's no use starting to blame anybody now, gentlemen. I didn't call you in here to pass judgment. The thing's done, and that's that.
Yeah, you're right
what we have got to do is to make up our minds how we're going to handle it.
Well, it'd be easy if we didn't have to tell the passengers and crew. I've seen panics aboard liners before.
I agree with you, Mr. Bowman, but I don't quite see how we can avoid it.
They got a right to know. As long as that snake's loose, everybody on board's on the same danger. And they all ought to know about it.
Captain Wood, that thing is 12 feet long. It can't simply crawl into a crack. Why don't we make a quick search of the whole ship before we spread any alarm?
I thought of that, Christopher.
Well, as far as I can see, the only place it couldn't be is in the boilers or on top of the galley stove.
It might have crawled overboard.
No. We can't count on that. We've got to assume it's on the ship somewhere.
Yeah, that could be anywhere. In a coil of rope or in a pile of clothes or under a baby's crib. Or even
You've already said it. That Bushmaster could be anywhere. We've got to do something, and we've got to do it fast.
All right. I think the best idea is to follow Mr. Warner's suggestion. Make a quick search first. You agree to that?
Yes,
then, if we don't find it, we'll have to warn the passengers.
We've got to find it. Alone in the dim baggage room, I went through the same movements as I had earlier in the captain's cabin. Gun in one hand, flashlight in the other, poking into every dark corner behind every trunk and box. Since the baggage room was empty, I could keep the gun cocked and ready. The rest of those poor devils were having to do the same thing barehanded. All over the ship, the search went on.
Here now, Stewart. What on earth are you doing, rummaging through my cabin?
I'm just checking up, ma'am.
Well, I'm quite sure there's nothing in here that has to be checked.
I'm sorry, ma'am. It's Captain's orders. It'll only take a few minutes.
Well, I've never heard of such a thing. A passenger simply doesn't have any privacy at all. I've traveled on a lot of different lines, but I've certainly never heard of anything.
Sorry, sir. I wonder if you'd mind moving over to the other rail. I'd like to look through these lockers.
Sure, go ahead. What's the matter? You lost something?
No, nothing like that. No, just looking things over.
Well, there's nothing in there but life preservers.
Yeah, that's right.
You must be getting ready to sink the boat, huh? You gonna collect the insurance on it? Is that it? You're gonna send us all to the bottom, I know.
But not one of us could find that deadly shape, coiled in some dark corner or outstretched along a window seat. Not one of us caught a glimpse of that horrid head with its beady, black, watchful eyes. The thing lay waiting out there, somewhere along the decks, shaded in the gathering dusk. But where, we didn't know. It was nearly dark when we met together again in the chart room.
Well, gentlemen, there's no other way around it. We've risked all the time we can. We've got to warn the passengers.
How'll we do it, Captain? Call them all together in the lounge?
No, indeed. If we did anything like that, we'd be asking for a panic.
We'll get one whether we ask for it or not.
Pick a few men and go through the cabin decks. Tell them individually, inside their cabins. Watch for any that act like they might cause trouble, and we keep an eye on them. Handle the crew the same way. As soon as you're finished, arm all the deck officers and start searching again. Our only chance of preventing a riot is to find that damnable snake.
The slow nightmare that followed grew worse by the hour. None of us slept. All the ship's officers not on duty kept on with that endless search. Passengers locked themselves in their cabins or huddled together in the lounges, knowing all the time that no spot on board could be called safe. Fear was a heavy fog in the lungs of all of us, and every light on the vessel burned throughout the night. Morning came and brought no relief. Terror and tension mounted by the hour.
There now, Mrs. Crane. Stop getting yourself all worked up and go back to your cabin. The horrid thing's probably crawled overboard anyway.
You're just saying that. You're paid to say it. You don't know. Nobody knows.
No. Everything's going to be all right.
If only we could do something. If all of us could only get off this ship, they could fumigate it. Yes, that's what we've got to do. We've got to get off the ship.
No, wait. Mr. Bowman, she's going to jump. Grab her.
No, you don't, lady. Come on.
Nice work, Mr. Bowman. Get her down to her cabin. And whatever you do, don't turn her loose.
You never know when it might strike you. You can't put on a coat or move a chair without risking your life, and something's got to be done. It might be right here in this lounge.
All right, mister. All right, you better quiet down and take it easy.
Take it easy, eh? You're a great officer. Why don't you do something about it? That thing might be crawling around here right under our feet somewhere.
I said shut up. What are you trying to do, start a panic?
I got a right to talk. I don't want to die, and no one's going to tell me what...
The second night passed, and morning came around again. A gray and rainy day that dragged past, and then night came down. Third night of the terror. Again, every light burned, and the whole ship seized in the throes of incipient panic. Faced by a horror they'd never met on the sea before, crew and officers alike were on the verge of revolt. Passengers sat huddled in a trance-like stupor, ready to scream at the slightest unknown sound. At 7 bells, I made my way forward to the chart room. Found Captain Wood bent over a desk.
Oh, hello, Christopher. Come on in, sit down.
It's got to be somewhere, Captain Wood. It's got to be.
I don't know. You could search this ship for 6 months and never touch all the places aboard. If we can only hold out for 2 more days, we'll be in.
What's your home office say?
Here's the latest wireless from him. Keep quiet and keep coming. What else can we do? A cigarette, Chris?
Oh, thanks.
How is it on the decks?
Pretty bad. Anything could happen.
Yeah. That's why I took the guns away from the men. One pistol shot, we'd have a riot on our hands.
The whole thing's my fault, Captain Wood. That's what I can't forget.
Now take it easy, lad.
There was only some way I could pay for it myself, alone.
No. I know how you feel, but it's no more your fault than mine or the man who asked you to bring that snake back alive. Nobody planned this. You'd better try to get a little sleep, I think.
Sleep?
Mr. Bowman made some coffee down in the steward's galley a while ago. You'd better go on down and get yourself a cup and then rest for a couple of hours.
Rest? I can't rest.
Christopher, it's not going to help anything if you stumble through a hatch half asleep and break your neck, now is it? Go on, get some coffee.
Okay.
One way or another, we've got to hold out for 2 more days.
The light was on in the steward's galley, and the coffee pot was standing on the stove. It was still warm, so I didn't bother to heat it. I poured out a cup, carried it over, and set it on the porcelain tabletop in the center of the room. I started to light a cigarette. The door of the pan cupboard beneath the sink was standing slightly ajar, and I happened to glance toward it. I dropped the cigarette and moved slowly backward. I'd found the Bushmaster. As I moved, the snake slid out of the cupboard in a single sinuous glide and drew back into a loose coil on the galley floor, never taking his eyes off me. I moved slowly back, waiting any moment for that deadly, slithering strike. How had he known it was me? He'd stayed quiet when Bowman was here. How had he picked the first time in 5 days that I was without a gun? My hands touched the cold bulkhead behind me, and I stopped. Only then I realized in terror what I'd done. The call button and door were on the far side of the room. I'd backed into a dead end. I stared at the snake in fascination, expecting any moment the ripping slash of those poisoned fangs. The horrible coils tightened a little, then were still again. 10 million years of evolution to produce this moment. Homo sapiens versus Lachesis muta. Man against mute fate. And all the odds were on fate. I knew then that I was going to die. I could feel the sweat run down between the painted wall and the palms of my hands pressing against it. My skin crawled and twitched. The pit of my stomach was cold as ice. There was no sound but the rush of blood in my ears. The snake shifted again, drawing into a tighter coil. Always tighter. Why didn't the devil get it over with? And for just an instant, his head veered away. Something moved over by the stove. I didn't dare turn to look at it. Slowly, it moved out into my line of vision. It was a cat. That scrawny cat Clara that Mother Willis had sneaked aboard in La Guaira. Its back was arched. Every hair stood on end. It moved stiff-legged now, walking in a half circle around the snake. The Bushmaster moved slowly, kept watching the cat. He tightened. He was going to strike at any second. He struck and missed. The cat was barely out of reach. Now she was walking back and forth again. She was asking to die. Missed again by a fraction of an inch. He was striking now without even going to a full coil. Missed again and again, always missing by the barest margin. Each time the cat danced barely out of reach. Each time she countered with one precise spat of a dainty paw, bracing her skinny frame on 3 stiff legs. And then suddenly, I realized what she was doing. The Bushmaster was tiring, and one strike was just an instant slow. But in that split second, sharp claws raked across the evil head and ripped out both its eyes. The cat had deliberately blinded the snake. He didn't bother to coil now, but slid after her in a fury, striking wildly, always missing. And every strike was a little slower than the last one, until finally... As the snake's neck stretched out at the end of a strike, the cat made one leap and sank her razor-sharp teeth just back of the ugly head, sank them until they crunched bone. With tooth and claw, she clung as the monstrous snake flailed and lashed on the floor, striving to get those hideous coils around her, trying to break her hold, to shake off the slow and certain paralyzing death that gradually crept over him, and at last stilled his struggles forever. I took a deep breath. The first in minutes. The cat lay on her side on the floor, panting, resting from the fight just over. She had a right to rest. That mangy, brave, beautiful alley cat had just saved my life. And maybe others as well. But then, as I turned toward the stove, I suddenly became very humble. And I knew all at once what a small thing a human being really is. I and others aboard were still alive only by the merest accident. There were 3 reasons why that cat had fought and killed the world's deadliest snake. And those 3 reasons came tottering out from under the stove on shaky little legs. 3 kittens, with their eyes bright with wonder, their tails stiff as pokers. Up on the decks, hundreds of passengers were waiting for the news that the days and nights of terror were ended. Well, they could wait a little longer. I pulled open the doors of the cabinet and found a can of milk. Then I dropped down to my knees on the floor of the galley.
Escape, produced and directed by Norman MacDonald, has brought you John Lund in A Shipment of Mute Fate by Martin Storm, specially adapted for radio by Les Crutchfield. Featured in the cast were Barry Kroger as Captain Wood and Lois Corbett as Mother Willis, with David Ellis, Don Diamond, and Vivi Janis. Special sound effects by Earl Keane and Gus Bays. The musical score was conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week.
You are trapped in a remote valley in the Andes, walled in by sheer rock precipices, and surrounding you, closing in on you, is a band of blind men who want your eyes.
Next week, Escape with H.G. Wells' great story, The Country of the Blind, when our star will be that fine actor, Edmund O'Brien. Good night, then, until this same time next week, when once again CBS offers you Escape. John Lund may soon be seen starring the Paramount picture Bride of Vengeance. This is Roy Rowan speaking. It's time now for the most wonderful hour of laughter on the air, the Mad and Merry 60 Minutes with the Jack Benny Show, and with Amos and Andy. They will be heard over most of these same CBS stations, and Jack Benny will come to you over them all. You'll never miss them by staying tuned to the station where they say, "This is CBS," where 99 million people gather every week, the Columbia Broadcasting System.